If you're not constantly experimenting, growing, and evolving your style as a photographer, you scroll through Instagram and all the great photography you seem to see all around you, or even if just your Amazon cart is always filled with a different lens or a filter or a different camera every week, you're probably the NPC. The best photographers care about the story that was told, not the pen it was written with. And I want to share my process on how to develop your own individual photography style, how to stand out within your market, whether in Manhattan or in Manila. And you're going to learn how to take the incredibly unique experience you've had living your own life and apply that to every single photo shoot you do moving forward. Hey everyone, welcome and welcome back. My name is Sergio, and we don't need to travel very far away to different countries or visit expensive museums anymore just to look at great art. All we really need to do is swipe up. But same with being inundated with news from every corner of the world, being influenced by the artists in every niche of the world is equally not really good for your well-being. That said, I do still think of today's modern Instagram world of photography in a very optimistic way, at least for three key reasons. First, I believe that the ease of accessibility to a craft, whether it's photography or design or mathematics, that lower barrier of entry yields the greater good overall. But that isn't to say that it's only good. I think a balance of the purity of why photography started mixed with today's explosion of wanting more and more out of our art is the best way moving forward. Some of the stuff we create today is way more technically advanced and impressive than before, but the point of your photography is never what gear you use to shoot it. Back 100 years ago, before, random guys with mustaches were talking to you from some island in Canada, your photography style was created as a culmination of your life experience. Picking up a camera wasn't trendy or aesthetic or a teenager's way of self-expression. It was a laborious process that demanded risky chemicals and a dedication to capturing a moment in time. There's no double taps, there's no save button. There's a middle-aged farmer who just got back from war and wants to immortalize a moment spent with the family. Of course, I'm generalizing, but it is helping me get my point across. It's not the specs, it's not the gear, it's not even the photo. It's the impact. That's why they did this, and that's why you and I should continue to do this. We get our first camera at 15 nowadays and try to Google, what's my photography style? Oh, it must be teal shadows and orange highlights. Perfect, okay, I'm gonna save that to a preset. You gotta live a life, and you gotta pull from it. It's not that at 15 you don't have something to say, but growing up online, the more typical blueprint evolution is seeing something, a piece of art that's visually striking to us, and then trying to recreate it in order to build that technical skill for such an image. That works, and I swear by doing that for yourselves. But what makes the photographer who shot the image, the one that you're only recreating, is the message that they were able to sell to the client in order to have the ability to shoot that photo. So when you're scrolling through the gram looking for inspo, don't look at lighting setups. Don't try to recreate an angle or use a prop in the same way or something, but try to find the story that the photographer was trying to say and look for stories within your own life that could be told in a similar visual way. That's how you grow. I go more in depth on this by the end of the video, but for now, just take away that you need to pull from your lived experience because nobody else has it but you. As I alluded to, this is something you're always working on and always evolving. I don't want you to look at me and watch this video and think to yourself, oh, that's all he's got? He isn't even good. But what I want you to take away from this sentiment is that life, much like your photography journey, is a constant work in progress. I'm not in my final form. I'm not shouting from mountaintops about how technically solid a certain image was, but I am proud of the progress that I've made and continue to make, and I want to share those psychological tricks I play on myself so that you can go from whatever level you're at in your photo journey and then take that a couple steps further. This is about, reframing your mentality. It's about realizing that the more you think you know about something, the less you probably do. I'm not the first to bring up the Dunning-Kruger effect, so I won't go in depth about this, but I do vouch for it because I've suffered from it in the past, and I still constantly see new photographers fall into its trap time and time again. Now, another way to protect yourself from becoming the NPC is to cherish your mental bandwidth. You don't want to consume your thoughts with things that aren't important. NPCs worry about camera specs, and they Google DxO scores and whether a lens is sharp or not. NPCs care about what you shot the photo on, and creative photographers care about what you shot a photo of. Just back to mental bandwidth real quick, it's a concept I really do believe in. I remember growing up and thinking to myself as I was going from one grade to the next, memorizing all these seemingly unnecessary formulas, I was like, damn, the brain is limitless. Doctors must have all this and then 20 years of extra experience on me. How do you do it? But to that same effect, long-term storage is not the same as RAM. random access memories, I think, are what we use for creativity. It's more troubleshooting, it's seeing the same story from an unconventional angle, it's adaptability and taste. You can study trends and look at the probabilities of what works and why red is exciting and why blue is calming and all that and those rules and whatever. But your best photos are waiting for you to have that be second nature. They're waiting for you to not overthink the technical. Oh, and just a quick sidebar, don't get offended or weirded out if this doesn't apply. I'm pretty much just talking to myself from 10 years ago, but if you are still out there, I promise you, nobody cares what you shot your photo on. Who are you, the camera or the photographer? I'm gonna try to sneak that into every video. But my clients today come back to me because they wanna work with me, not because my pictures are necessarily better than everyone on the island. And I'm sorry again if you're local and you're watching this, but whatever chosen photographer for a project that you see, it's probably a pretty good photographer, but also absolutely that photographer is friends with someone on the hiring team. Go shoot with your friends. Make your friends be thriving business owners. And if they're not, you should probably just expand your network until they are, and then you too can become a thriving business owner. So how do you make a portfolio that's a dissertation of your life, of your lived experience, so that you can live the future that you're dreaming of? Well, my biggest piece of advice for not being an NPC photographer is to find inspiration not from your Instagram feed, but from everything you do that's not related to photography.
But Sergio, this is my obsession. I live and breathe photography. It's all I do.
There was a time where you didn't, and your portfolio doesn't need to just be things that you like. Focus your attention inwards and look at your routines, look at your childhood, look for patterns in your neuroses. One example that I love to pull from is recreating silly one-liners from the many, many movies that I grew up on. I'm the youngest sibling of about 10 years, so I found a lot of joy from Hollywood and comedy and the entire entertainment industry. I can think of a series I created last year with this shot here from the cranberry juice scene from The Departed, or the tension release scene from the candy wrapper in No Country, or a full 180 to the maple syrup chug in Super Troopers. Or how about this Black Forest Gâteau from Hot Fuzz? Next time you see something that grabs your attention, especially if you're feeling critical about it, do yourselves a favor and give it a second chance. There's no way of knowing everything that went on in the creation of a piece of art, and sometimes it's even hard to find the true meaning that the artist had. So rather than judging someone else's art for whatever it's less than, just focus that energy on creating stuff for yourself. Next week, I'm going to show you guys a real neat behind the scenes video of a new portfolio series that I've been working on, and I've implemented some of my personal lived experience to avoid falling into that NPC trap. Sorry, you're going to have to tune in next week to see what I'm shooting. The clients I work with book me because of my ideas and the ease of working with me, not because I can recreate some super technical image they found online. So put your energy into figuring out what it is that you want to say and create a lasting impression with your portfolio. Sometime this winter, I am gonna ask for some portfolio reviews from you guys. So if you're interested and you're still watching this video right now, consider this your little heads up to start working on something new and exciting and worth showing off. Maybe comment down below saying portfolio time, just so that I can keep up with you. I don't wanna use the word copycat in a negative connotation because I do believe it's important to copy, at least recreate. You'll never be able to truly copy because there's just infinite variables in any scenario. But I do think it's important to see something visually striking to you, pick apart what it is that you really enjoy from that image, and try to recreate it for yourself, only to find out that it's never as easy as it looks. Oh, it must be the editing. Oh, it must be some super fancy equipment that I can't afford. No, not usually at least. The photographer that shot the ad you're eyeballing probably borrowed many concepts to get to a point where they had something to say, and also the technical ability to pull it off. That's why I think copying is okay, because the photographer that's getting booked consistently isn't the one copying, it's the one people copy. You need to have the technical ability so you can deploy it when necessary. I'm often telling you guys it's not about the technical, just worry about your storytelling. But that's because at a certain level, usually the working photographer level, we're all pretty much good enough. We can all expose an image, we all know how to create gradients on glass and reflective surfaces. There's a slim difference between the technical ability of most professional photographers. But what will always differentiate two working pros is how they approach a situation. What personal lived experience can they bring to influence the final image? That's why for me, I find it hard to really believe in competition, at least per se. If you're yourself more than anyone else can be, then you're not competing with anyone. You don't need to book every single client, you just need to be the perfect fit for that select few. I hope you guys got something out of this. I'll see you all next week with a new behind the scenes video. Peace.